Coming up on today's Airborne, a tragic loss at the Dayton Airshow this weekend. An emergency landing ends well at an airshow in Davenport, Iowa. And Icon raises over $60 million in needed funding. Welcome to Airborne on Aero-TV. I'm Ashley Hale. The airshow industry is mourning the loss of two of its family members after a tragic accident this past Saturday at the Dayton International Airshow. Wicker and Charlie Schwenker were reported dead after a 12:45 Saturday performance. Video of the accident shows a transition to a low-level inverted pass, with her sitting upside down, that appears to have gone wrong as the aircraft either stalled or started the execution of a role reversal and impacted the ground. The 450 horsepower Stearman biplane, known as Aurora, was consumed by a significant post-impact fire. The accident was isolated and no other injuries were reported. The FAA and other officials are on site investigating the incident. Airshow officials canceled the remainder of the Saturday show, but in true entertainment tradition, the show did go on Sunday. ANN will report more details on this tragic loss as they become available, and we send our prayers and sympathies to the families and friends of these gifted performers. While the show went on as scheduled in Dayton Sunday, there were tense moments at the Quad City Airshow in Davenport, Iowa, after airshow pilot John Klatt experienced an engine problem, one serious enough to necessitate the release of his canopy in the middle of his performance in order to execute a safe emergency landing. This appears to be one of those circumstances in which an airshow pilot had bare seconds to deal with a bad and deteriorating situation. According to Klatt Airshows, quote, John's MXS experienced an engine failure, which forced him to execute an immediate emergency landing. John released the aircraft's canopy, which had become coated with oil, in order to regain forward visibility to land. He suffered some minor burns and bruises, but is otherwise fine, end quote. Just under 2 years ago, Klatt was forced to make an emergency landing during a performance at the Battle Creek Balloon Festival, proving he's not only a good and calm stick, but must own one heck of a rabbit's foot. ANN extends our best wishes to John and his team and look forward to seeing him airborne soon. So let's move on to some positive news. Icon Aircraft reported a boost in the bank account this past weekend, which the company says will help it move towards full production of the long-awaited airplane. Tom Patton reports.
Icon Aircraft announced that it raised its fourth and final round of equity funding in May. The round, which totals over $60 million, included investors from North America, Europe, and Asia. The company says it will use the funds to complete production preparations, demonstrate regulatory compliance, and ramp up full-scale aircraft production. In a letter to A5 deposit holders, Kirk Hawkins, CEO and founder of Icon Aircraft, acknowledged the production delays of the A5 and thanked donors for their continued patience and enthusiasm. He also pointed out the extra development time permitted significant improvements to the airplane, including the spin-resistant airframe. The company's order list has continued to grow despite the delays, with deposits received for nearly 1,000 aircraft. Icon is backed by North American, European, and now Asian investors. The Asian investor was not named, but is described as a multi-billion-dollar conglomeration that is well established in the Chinese GA industry, which makes the collaboration especially valuable to Icon. The company says the participation of Icon's Asian investor serves as an important strategic goal of positioning Icon to capitalize on Asia's rapidly growing GA market. For Airborne, I'm Tom Patton.
Well-known entrepreneur and strategist, and the genius behind the Dayjet program, Ed Yabuchi, passed away last week after a 60-month battle with pancreatic cancer. Just over a decade ago, Ed co-founded Dayjet Corporation, quote, with the mission of bringing affordable, accessible per-seat, on-demand jet travel to more people and more communities, end quote. The young company forged a 5-year strategic agreement with the FAA to pioneer the next generation of air transportation technologies. But after a successful launch in 2007, Dayjet was forced to cease operations in 2008 when it was no longer able to secure its planned growth capital. It was an idea that should have worked and will work someday, somewhere. It's simply that good. Iacobucci was born on September 26, 1953 in Buenos Aires, Argentina. He's survived by his mother, wife, 3 children, brother, and 3 grandchildren. You're watching Airborne, more in a moment.
Since its inception, Redbird Flight Simulations has been dedicated to developing new training technologies and processes in an ongoing effort to make aviation safer, more affordable, and more accessible. Consider Redbird's flagship flight training device, the FMX, a superior quality, full-motion, feature-rich advanced aviation training device priced with real-world flight training organizations in mind. With standard features that are anything but standard, such as wraparound visuals, a fully enclosed cockpit, quick change configurations, scenario-based training compatibility, and of course, an electric motion platform, the FMX serves up a level of realism that is simply unavailable in other training devices on the market. For more information on Redbird flight simulations, the Redbird FMX, and Redbird's entire line of flight training devices, visit www.redbirdflightsimulations.com.
Welcome back. If you'd like to suggest a story for Airborne, Aero-TV, our website, or podcast, just drop us an email to news-by@aero-news.net. Boeing enjoyed a strong and productive Paris Airshow, launching its newest model, the 787-10 Dreamliner, announcing important commercial airplane orders and strengthening alliances and relationships with customers and partners around the world. Over the past week, customers have demonstrated their strong confidence in the full family of Boeing commercial products. The next generation 737, 737 MAX, 787, 777, and 747-8, announcing orders and commitments for 442 Boeing airplanes, valued at more than $66 billion. The number of Boeing net orders for 2013 currently stands at 692. Charlie Miller, Vice President of International Communications, summed up the week in Paris by saying, quote, "Our airline customers have strongly endorsed Boeing's innovative family of commercial airplanes, with outstanding orders and the launch of our latest 787 Dreamliner model." Franco-Italian aircraft manufacturer ATR says the 50th edition of the Paris Airshow was the best yet in their history. Over the course of the week, the turboprop aircraft manufacturer announced orders for 173 planes, including 83 firm orders at the airshow. The total value for these contracts exceeds $4.1 billion, including $2 billion in firm orders. Pratt & Whitney announced new orders for more than 1,000 engines, including options at the 2013 Paris Airshow. The company's new commercial engine announcements include orders from customers around the world for new Pure Power, IAE V2500, and Pratt & Whitney PW4000 engines. With new Pure Power engine orders announced this week, Pratt & Whitney now has more than 4,500 orders and commitments from more than 40 customers around the world. Among the thousands of aircraft and products on display at the Paris Airshow last week was one that may never reach production, but which could serve as a proving ground for many concepts that eventually will. AgustaWestland's Project Zero electric tilt-rotor single-seat VTOL aircraft turned more than a few heads at Le Bourget. The entire aircraft exterior surface is carbon graphite, and it uses no hydraulics. The retractable landing gear, nacelle tilting mechanism, and elevons are controlled by high-bandwidth electric-mechanical actuators. Daniel Ramini, AgustaWestland's CEO, said at its introduction earlier this year that, quote, "The Project Zero Technology Demonstrator Program brings together many of the advanced technologies AgustaWestland has been researching in recent years. We strongly believe in the tilt rotor concept as the future of high-speed rotorcraft flight, as it offers much greater speed and range than compound helicopter technology," end quote. The Project Zero Technology Demonstrator was designed, built, and tested in just 12 months. And now it's time for Aero Video of the Week. If you're a fan of the Jimmy Stewart movie, Strategic Air Command, you'll remember scenes of the B-36 operating out of the Carswell Air Force Base near Fort Worth, Texas. But you can be sure the movie did not include this vintage footage of an infamous low pass over a Fort Worth neighborhood. You can find this Aero Video of the Week on YouTube by searching Convair B-36 Peacemaker makes low pass over Fort Worth neighborhood. The producer of an as-yet unreleased documentary says he has solid proof that an external detonation brought down TWA Flight 800 in 1996 and is asking the NTSB to reopen its investigation of the accident. Tom Stalcup told CNN's New Day program that several people have come forward to say there was an external force that caused the explosion, and that there is no evidence that the explosion originated in the center fuel tank of the Boeing 747 on July 17, 1996. The film's producers have signed a petition asking the NTSB to reopen the case based on their evidence. The NTSB said the explosion likely was caused by an electrical short circuit that ignited fuel vapors in the center tank. ABC News reports that 6 of the investigators who worked on the case say that the assessment is incorrect, with one investigator saying they did not find any part of the airplane which indicated there was a mechanical failure. ABC reported that the producers on the film do not speculate as to what the external forces might have been. Jim Spear, an accident investigator for ALPA, was more blunt. He told the Associated Press, quote, "We don't know who fired the missile, but we have a lot more confidence that it was a missile," end quote. The NTSB said its conclusion was based on irrefutable evidence. Remember, you can get comprehensive, real-time, 24/7 coverage of the latest aviation and aerospace stories anytime at aero-news.net. And please remember, Airborne is streamed twice weekly and is always online. Join us again this Friday for a new edition of Airborne. I'm Ashley Hale. Thanks for watching.